hypothesis is melodramatic, but not to be excluded.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if this is your first time. I'm here to talk about an event that I'm going to be taking part in next month. So this video is appearing right in the middle of the big unhaul stuff. So if you've been watching the unhaul videos where I'm getting rid of, or have got rid of, loads and loads of books, and I filmed the process, then I hope you're enjoying those. And they're all like a group of 10 videos of me getting rid of books. So this is in the middle of it. So please look out for those videos if you're curious. But this is an event that is all about occult detectives. So it's called Occult Detective October. It's the first time it's being run. It sounds really cool. I'm co-hosting it, but I'm co-hosting it from a position of not having read that much of occult detective novels. But I have got some stuff that I'm definitely interested in, and it's slightly different to what other people have picked, I think. So we've been chatting on Voxer, and lots of people have been throwing ideas back and forth, and one of the ideas I've got, one of the books I've got to read is from one of those recommendations. So occult detectives are a kind of a breed of detective fiction, a breed of fantasy fiction that is basically a mix of crime with the supernatural. That's essentially what it is. So fantasy elements in crime fiction, that's what we're talking about. So there are a couple of very famous examples, but there's also quite a lot of old sort of classic authors that have done a lot of that kind of thing, and there's some more obscure things. There's lots from the indie publishers that one of the co-hosts has been recommending. One of the co-hosts is an absolute expert because they run a magazine all about it. I'll talk about the co-host in a second, but I just want to just talk about the fact that this is about occult detective fiction, Occult Detective October. So all the way through October, we'll be looking at these things. So I'll just quickly tell you who the co-hosts are. So Bob Freeman, Crystal from Fiberazzi, the expert, Dave Brzeski. So you would have seen him comment on videos, and he runs the Occult Detective Magazine, which is a really, really good magazine that you can buy online. I don't know if you can buy it in shops, but you can certainly buy it online. He's definitely bringing up loads and loads of suggestions through this chat. So there's Dave Brzeski, there's another Bibliophile Reads. So Greg from another Bibliophile Reads is also co-hosting. MJ from Reading This Life, Michael K. Vaughan, Ollie from Criminolly, Roy from Roy Reads Anything, Steve Donahue, and Sin Storm as well. So I'll link their channels below, but these are all the co-hosts for the event, and they're going to be picking several things to read that fit into the occult detective fiction brand, style, genre, whatever. And I'm going to talk about some of the things that I'm picking. So, and there's a very famous example, the Dresden Files, and I am reading the Dresden Files, and I'm on book 3, but I'm choosing, at the moment, I'm choosing to not read that for the event. This is because there's about 16 books in the series, and there's another comparable series that if I really go for it, I might be able to finish the series, or at least do the first batch of, I think he's been releasing some new ones, but the first batch of books, and I could do an overview video in Occult Detective October about the series. So I'll tell you about the series in a second, but that's my thinking, that might be more productive than reading another Dresden Files book, even though the Dresden Files books are good. So if you're not sure what to read and you like the idea of the event, but you know about the Dresden Files books and you were thinking about starting them, Stormfront, the first one's a really good book. So I would recommend that, but I've only read the first 2, and they were good. Apparently it gets even better. So after you've read the first 3, I think people have said, then it really kicks in. But I did like them anyway. So I'm liking the Dresden Files series, but I'm not going to read those, I don't think, for the event. So let's talk about this comparable series. So the reason why I say it's a comparable series is because the Rivers of London series by Ben Aranovich are a series of books that are about a detective who is a wizard. So in a similar way that Harry Dresden is the same kind of thing, but set in America and written by an American author. This is about Peter Grant, who's a English policeman, detective. He works with policemen. He's in the police force, but I don't think he's a policeman. I think more like a detective kind of officer kind of guy. Anyway, he's a wizard as well. So that's why it's comparable to the Dresden Files. But in other ways, it's not. It's got a different feel, and it's set in London. So I love London, and if you love London, then you'll probably enjoy the setting of it. But I've read 3 of the books so far, so I'm on the 4th one. So the one I'm on is Broken Homes, and the first 3 are really good. So Broken Homes is the 4th one, so I'm on that book. But the reason why I'm holding these 2 up as well is that there's one other one called Foxglove Summer, I think it's called. So if I read this one and just go into one and want to just go for it, and I want to read these 2 and Foxglove Summer, which I also have somewhere, then I would be able to do like an overview video of all of those, because that's a nice chunky amount of books that you can kind of do a video on if I want to do that. If I don't, then I will do one on this anyway, and possibly the other 2 that I've already read, because I haven't really talked about them much on the channel. So Broken Homes is the 4th one in the series. That's the next one on for me to read in the Rivers of London series. But yeah, just to kind of reiterate, I would definitely recommend the series. So if you're curious, you've heard about the series but haven't read any yet, then the first one is called Rivers of London, and the second one is Moon Over Soho, and that was my favourite so far. But the first one is really good. So yeah, Broken Homes, I am definitely going to read in this Occult Detective October. I'm also going to read a Yahtzee Croshaw book. So I've been championing Yahtzee Croshaw on my channel loads since I started it. And this is called Differently Morphous. I've had this for a while. I was so pleased to find this in foils a few years ago, a couple of years ago, and I still haven't read it yet, which is crazy. And I think it's an X-Files parody. I'll just read out what it says on the back. So, Differently Morphous. A magical serial killer is on the loose, and gelatinous otherworldly creatures are infesting the English countryside, which is making life for the Ministry of Occultism difficult, because magic is supposed to be their best-kept secret. After centuries in the shadows, the Ministry is forced to unmask, exposing the country's magical history and magical citizens to a brave new world of social media, government scrutiny, and public relations. On the trail of the killer are the Ministry's top agents, a junior operative with a photographic memory, a couple of overgrown schoolboys with good godlike powers, and a demonstrably insane magician. But as they struggle for results, their superiors at HQ must face the greatest threat the Ministry has ever known, the forces of political correctness. Okay, that last bit was a bit scary. Clearly there's some political commentary in there. It'd be interesting to see what the political commentary is. So far, Yahtzee Croshaw has not done any political commentary. So, yeah, it sounds like it's making stabs at political correctness. So we'll see, because it could be something I can relate to, or it could be not something I can relate to. We'll find out. So yeah. Broken Homes, the Rivers of London series. I'm going to read Differently Amorphous because I do really like Yahtzee Croshaw. I'm a little nervous of the political correctness thing. The other thing I'm definitely going to read is a recommendation from the expert in the group, Dave Brzeski, and this is a book by John Connolly called The Burning Soul. So I'll try and read the back. I might need my glasses. Hold on. Randall Haight has a secret. When he was a teenager, he and his friend killed a 14-year-old girl. Randall did his time and built a new life in the small Maine town of Pastors Bay. But somebody has discovered the truth about Randall. He's being tormented by anonymous messages, haunting reminders of his past crime, and he wants private detective Charlie Parker to make it stop. But another 14-year-old girl has gone missing, this time from Pastors Bay, and the missing girl's family has its own secrets to protect. And now Parker must unravel a web of deceit involving the police, the FBI, a doomed mobster, and Randall Haight himself. Because Randall Haight is telling lies. Okay, so Detective Charlie Parker, and it says a Charlie Parker thriller. I'm guessing This is not based on the saxophonist Charlie Parker. Maybe it's a tribute. I don't know. But anyway, John Connolly, Burning Soul. I'm going to read that. Yeah, I think this might be relevant. I don't know. I might not find out how relevant this is until I've read it, because what Christopher Moore tends to do is chuck loads of things into a plot and make it a little bit farcical and crazy. But I do like Christopher Moore, and I found this and got very excited because it looked like the same kind of design as the book called Noir, which is his parody of film noir kind of tropes, but with a kind of horror tinge to it, albeit being a comedy. And now I realise it is deliberately that design because it's a sequel. So it's a sequel to the book Noir. So I'll read a bit from the back again. San Francisco, 1947. Bartender Sammy Two Toes Tiffin and the rest of the Cookies Coffee Irregulars, a ragtag bunch of working mugs last seen in Noir, are on the hustle. They're trying to open a driving school, Shanghai an abusive Swedish stevedore, get Mabel, the local madam, and her girls to a Christmas party at the State Hotel, without alerting the overzealous head of the SFPD, Vice Squad, all while Sammy's girlfriend, Stilton, and her Wendy the Welder gal pals are using their wartime shipbuilding skills on a secret project that might be attracting the attention of some government men in black. And, oh yeah, someone is murdering the city's drag kings, and club owner Jimmy Vasco is sure she's next on the list and wants Sammy to find the killer. Meanwhile, Eddie Mushu's Shoe has been summoned by his Uncle Ho to help save his opium den from Squid Kid Tang, and vicious gangster who's determined to retrieve a priceless relic, an ancient statue of the powerful rain dragon that he stole from one of the fighting Tongs 40 years earlier. And if Eddie blows it, he just might cool down the wrath of that powerful magical creature on all of Fog City. There you go. So yeah, Razzmatazz looks like it could be relevant, but it's got loads and loads of stuff put in it, so who knows how relevant it is. But I'm going to try and read this as well in case it's relevant. Hello everybody, so this is a big interruption to what you've already just seen, because I've got more to play with for the Occult Detective October. So basically, we were chatting in the Voxer group, and I said I didn't have many old stuff, many books for the old stuff. And Roy, from Roy Reads Anything, check out his channel. He's brilliant, one of my favourite channels. Check out Roy's channel. But Roy, from Roy Reads Anything, said, well, I've got a few spares if you'd like. And I said, oh, yes, please. And he sent me some spares. So a really generous thing to do. Really grateful, Roy. And I'm definitely reading these as is a gift. So this first one is by W.H. Hodgson. And it's the Casebook of Carnegie, the Ghost Finder. And this was originally published in 1913. So much earlier than the other stuff I was talking about. So this sounds really good. The other one, a little bit delicate. It's not in fantastic condition, so I've got to be careful. He's clearly quite old. And this is Algernon Blackwood. So I have read some Algernon Blackwood before. And this is the John Silence stories. And these were published in 1908, so even earlier, which if you knew Algernon Blackwood stuff, you wouldn't know that wasn't much of a surprise. And I'll just read you some of the titles here. You've got, these are the stories that you've got in here. You've got A Psychical Invasion, Ancient Sorcerer, The Nemesis of Fire, and A Secret Worship. Oh, and then The Camp of the Dog. Those are the stories in here, the John Silence stories that are in this book. And so really awesome that I've got this. So thank you, Roy. So this is Algernon Blackwood. And then the other one, which again is new to me, this is The Secrets of Dr. Tavernier by Dion Fortune. Dion Fortune's been discussed quite a lot in the Voxer group, but I hadn't had access or had any experience with him before. So this looks really cool as well. You've got Bloodlust, The Return of the Ritual, The Man Who Sought, The Soul That Would Not Be Born, The Scented Poppies, The Death Hound, A Daughter of Pan, The Subletting of the Mansion, Recalled, The Sea Lure, The Powerhouse, and A Son of the Night. So very evocative titles. There we go, Dion Fortune, The Secrets of Dr. Tavernier. So that's the other thing that I've got to add to what I had already. So this doesn't mean I'll be playing around a little bit. I do want to read those, but I did want to read those others as well, so we'll see how we get on. I may not be reading as many of the Rivers of London ones, don't know. Anyway, thanks for watching. Back to Gareth. And also, just right at the beginning of the month, as I said earlier in the video, I want to read a couple of things just for Halloween, so I can maybe review them if I really like them, or recommend them if I really like them. And one of them will be my first Grady Hendrix book, which is Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires, which I'm very excited about. And I don't know if you saw the short I did on this, but I found this like mint condition copy that was secondhand in the charity shop for 50p. It's ridiculous. It's like beautiful condition. Anyway, yeah, so there's that one. But also, on Criminology's recommendation, I bought this as well in Waterstones about 6 months ago. Cunning Folk. So I'd like to read this before I get onto the occult detective stuff. So those two I'll read, hopefully, for Halloween. If I choose one and I read it quite slowly, I'll have to nip into the occult stuff, occult detective stuff. But these are intended to be read for Halloween, and then I'll read the others for the occult detective fiction event. So there we are. What do you think? Are those books that you know about? Are you curious? Have you got any opinion about the Rivers of London series? I'd love to know. And that's it. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye.